Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today we're going to be playing with Jonathan S's Painter deck. Now, the red-white painter is often referred to as shortcake or strawberry shortcake because of the color combination. You know, it's red and white. All right, okay, you figured it out, great. So let's specifically talk about what this version of the deck list is trying to do. There's 3 copies of Urza Saga in this deck list, which I really like in Painter. The reason why it's so cool is you get a curve of turn 1 Urza Saga, turn 2 Painter, and assuming you make all of your land drops, you just tap the Urza Saga for mana on turn 3, and it just puts the Grindstone into play, and da-da, all of a sudden, like, you have another way to just, like, curve out and win the game on turn 3. And I think that is a great way to build the deck right now. I like going fast with Painter and having the ability to grind as well. And I've just been super impressed by the Urza Saga hands from Painter. They have just been so scary. All right. As far as the rest of the main deck goes, this deck is really heavy on the tutor ability. This has 4 copies of Imperial Recruiter. So between like Goblin Welder and Goblin Engineer to bring stuff back from the graveyard and Imperial Recruiter to find your missing pieces, there's a lot going on here. Now, some of these slots, you found room for them by only playing 2 Karns. And I have mixed feelings about that. So like there's another Karn in the sideboard here. And if we take a look, like a huge portion of the sideboard is dedicated to the Karn package. But because there's only 2 Karns, it doesn't make sense to play everything. So there's like not a Mycosynth Lattice lockout package here. There's not one painter in the board, for example. So your Karn package looks a little bit weirder than normal, and Karn is not a card that is going to win the game on its own in this version of the build. Which I don't know how I feel about. We'll kind of see like practically what it's like once I'm actually in the games. But that concerns me a little bit. As far as the main deck goes, just another couple of quirks here. There is a Brainstone in this deck list as something else that you can get off in Urza Saga. There's a Singleton Enlightened Tutor, which I don't really like. I am kind of pushing the agenda that Enlightened Tutor is not really a playable legacy card. I'm just not a big fan of that tempo loss. I think you oftentimes need to have the cards now, and you can't afford to go down a card and wait a turn to get the things that you need. We'll see how it feels here. Otherwise, notably, I suppose we have 4 Pyroblasts in the main deck and another 2 in the sideboard to do the whole like Painter, destroy any permanent or counter any spell. I think that's really all I have to say about this deck. Let's just kind of see how it does in action. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage content 5 days a week. If you're a returning fan, please throw me a like before we get started. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. If you want to try out this deck list or, you know, do a donation of your own to get one of your decks on the channel, that information's in the video description. And there's also bonus videos available for members. Let's battle. Okay, my first opening hand essentially does nothing. I just like make some land drops. We're gonna mulligan this. Okay. How do I feel about this hand? I think I keep this hand. And I think I'm gonna pitch the Goblin Engineer. Well, I'm gonna pitch the Lightning Bolt. This is a threatening enough hand where I'm going to be the proactive one here. And the Goblin Engineer allows me to put a Painter into the graveyard, which is kind of cool. I don't know that I'll play the Goblin Engineer immediately. Realistically, I might end up playing like an Urza Saga Construct base game. But if I don't draw another play, I will just like play Urza Saga, let it tick up, play Goblin Engineer. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Fire Blast is not bad. Alright, so let's go Urza Saga. I will just play out the Goblin Engineer. Yes. And let's throw a Painter into the graveyard because we effectively already have Grindstone because I have access to it off this Urza Saga. Yeah, play your land. A second Source of Flasher is pretty good. But again, I will still just have like constructs coming. Okay. I think I'm mostly about just burying my opponent in constructs. I don't think I want to play this Urza Saga this turn, though, because next turn I want to use 2 mana in my upkeep to play to activate this. So I'm just going to go Great Furnace past this turn and start making my constructs larger as quickly as possible. Do I need an upkeep stop? I don't think I need an upkeep stop right now. Construct away. Alright. Construct again. I will just be grabbing a Grindstone here for long-term prospects. I think I have enough power on board where I can actually consider just playing Bloodstained Mire and holding up a Pyroblast. Or like an Ice Fang Coatl here. Send him. Okay, it's just going in. I think I would counter an end of turn Brainstorm, because I don't want to get Terminused. Yeah. I'll stop that. Plateau is fine. And let's stop that. Abundant Harvest, sure. Getting a Sylvan Library. That's fine. I am going to hit like hell. Your Sylvan Library is not going to gain life. Or sorry, your Sylvan Library is not going to be able to like pay life. I am probably hitting for 10 on my turn. Okay, there is the Sylvan Library. Ooh, a Source of Plowshares is good. Prismatic, okay, Prismatic Ending on Grindstone. They are attempting to not die to damage. Alright, well, I will play an Urza Saga. I will play an Aethersworn Canonist. And I will bash in for 8. Now, technically, this does mean that my opponent can, like, potentially do 2 things via the Sylvan Library 1 on their turn 1 on... sorry. The Aethersworn Canonist makes it less likely that they can leverage their Sylvan Library to play multiple spells. They can play multiple spells by doing 1 on their turn, 1 on my turn. But like, seeing as I have this other Urza's Saga available, I think we're probably done here. Yeah. Alright, what do I like for Bant? I want this other Urza Saga. I can consider playing the Caracas for Uro. I can consider playing more Blasts. I think I want more Blasts. I probably don't want Ensnaring Bridge most of the time. I probably want to be the beatdown here with the Urza Saga hands. Portable Hole is not the best in this matchup. Lightning Bolts are a little medium. I will probably shave on those. I probably don't need the Canonist. I'll probably board up a Karn. Something resembling this is probably pretty good. The Goblin Crater Maker is kind of whatever. The Enlightened Tutor is kind of whatever. How do I feel about this Caracas? Like, do I want to board that? I don't think Caracas is better than like a Plateau or a Great Furnace or a City here. I would have to replace an actual spell. I don't have something like a basic Plains. Yeah, I have 1 red card left in my deck. Or sorry, 1 white card left in my deck. I just have 1 Enlightened Tutor now. I guess I'll keep it. And I think I am okay going up a land if the land is Urza Saga, which is basically a spell in the first place. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. I don't feel like I have the smoothest in-out numbers for this matchup. And like, I have other things in the board that I can technically do. But like, I don't really know if I want a Tormod's Crypt for an Uro when I have 6 blast effects and like Karn to fetch Bridge as other answers to it. This hand is fine. I do not know how I'm going to play this hand. This is a difficult hand to play because I have so many different options for how I can play it out and like at which speed I play it out. I think I'm just going to start on the Construct game though. Like, historically, Urza Saga into a Soul Land is a great way to start off a game. Yeah, brainstorm away. I am going to poop constructs. Okay. Now what? Okay, yeah, just a cantrip. That's fine. That's way less scary for me than something like a Sylvan Library. Alright, there's no shuffle there. Alright, my Urza Saga ticks up. And I am just going to continue to stay on the Urza Saga beatdown plan for the beginning of this game. Expect a fetch here. Shuffle my opponent's library so they only take the best card off that ponder. Alright. That's a little bit annoying, but I can blast it. It means I get one less Urza Saga token than I'd like. But that is what it is. Alright. I just get the Grindstone here. Lotus Petal's not bad either. I'm just gonna get the Grindstone though. I lose this city, which I'm not stoked about. I'm going to attempt to blast now. I can get Force of Negation now, but I don't want to like open up my opponent's mana to open up Brainstorm-based lines. Yep. Fishing a second one. Okay. Get him. The opponent's at 16. I'm definitely at a disadvantage, but I am probably at parity or ahead on board. Alright. Let's go land. Attempt to crash on in. Alright, looks like that's going through. And I think I'll Pyroblast in upkeep. No, I will not Pyroblast in upkeep, because I removed that stop. I guess we're Pyroblasting end step. A little bit less good now, because my opponent has Hardcast Force of Will available. Alright. Out of counters. Good to know. So I'm just going to attack in for 3 this turn as my starting point. Don't have to worry about like an endurance yet. I guess technically Shark Typhoon is a thing. One's at 10. Now it's a question of like, do I want to play Imperial Recruiter or do I want to play Karn? So the Karn's not actually that good, but my opponent doesn't know that. There's not a painter in the sideboard, which is annoying. I think that means I just like fetch a basic mountain and Imperial Recruiter for painter. Let's do the thing. Alright, it has resolved. I could do the obnoxious thing where I Imperial Recruiter for Imperial Recruiter, but I'm just going to grab a painter. Painter represents death for my opponent next turn. Alright, that's cool. I'm going to cast a painter. Thing is blue. Go to combat. Attack for 5. I mean, I am obviously going to try to kill you in response to that. I mean, this almost certainly means they have 2 different... Oh my god, they just don't know how to play their deck. Yeah. I guess they could have an Endurance in hand and a green card. But yeah. Are your last 2 cards Endurance green card? Or did you just mess up? Yeah, alright, my opponent just killed themselves. Like, I did not try to kill them immediately because I knew that, like, if they are the person to take the first motion, like, they lose. And that's what happened there. My opponent needed to just chill. So this is one of those times where you look at your opening hand and go, is it okay that I have 4 unkeepable cards? Hey, good luck. We're in a video for, I think, the week of the 16th. Anyway, I think it's okay that I have 4 unkeepable cards in my hand because I just go Urza Saga into Ancient Tomb. My opponent has a good sense of humor. They say, ooh, I get to see myself play terribly. Alright, so my opponent is starting on 6. And they are a blue deck of some kind, probably a Delver deck. Red source, red source, red source, red source, red source. How does he do it? He is so good at Magic. Let's get the snow-covered mountain here rather than the regular mountain. Okay, that's fine. I will kill the Ragavan next turn with my other lightning bolt. I believe trying to remove Ragavan is more important than getting the Urza Saga down ASAP. Alright, opponent exiled a plateau. That's no big deal. So, our opponent is probably playing Blue-Red Delver. It'll be a few turns before we get exact confirmation, but that's the most likely deck here with the series of tools that I'm seeing. I believe this is an Urza Saga turn. I just want to get that thing going as quickly as possible. Because I have Painter, and this gets me Grindstone. Oh, we are waiting to pay costs. Yeah, brainstorm away. If your Force of Wills are attacking my my lightning bolts rather than my things that win the game for me, that's quite good for me. All right, so now that I've dealt with the first initial threat here, I feel like I'm in a pretty good position. This is a Murktide, though. That is a bit scary. All right. So now I guess I ask the question, like, how do I win versus, like, lose this game? The Murktide Regent is a pretty swift clock. I think I'm going to play Painter and Engineer this turn. And I'm just thinking, like, what land I want to play. Like, do I want to take 2 off the Ancient Tomb? I might. I'm likely to take some damage off the Bloodstained Mire anyway, and if I take 1... There's no difference between me taking 1 and 3 damage in terms of this Murktide Regent as a clock. I think I will shock myself accordingly. And I think this has become a Grindstone game. Like a Painter Grindstone combo game, rather than a I'm going to kill you with Urza's Saga tokens game. I'll still name blue. Alright, so I'm going to Goblin Engineer, and I'm going to put one of my... I could also just put the Ensnaring Bridge in the graveyard. I was going to put one of my Grindstones in the graveyard, but putting an Ensnaring Bridge in graveyard so I don't die to Murktide is also pretty good. Let's do that. This makes me a little bit worse against Wasteland. We have gotten the Boros Painter question mark in chat. Yeah. I'll give you the combination. Confirmation. Bleh. Okay. So, opponent is making their land drops. I will take the 6. Going to 9. Okay. I've lost the paint. Oh, I've lost the Engineer. Okay. Well, I'll just float a mana here. I will grab the Grindstone. Now, how do I best play around what my opponent has? I want to play a Goblin Welder. That just sets up a good degree of redundancy. Oh, the last card, Lightning Bolt. Really inconvenient for me if your last card is Lightning Bolt. And I didn't play my land first. So they have one unknown card. Yeah, fuck it, show me. I'll do it in their upkeep in case it's Stifle. It's safe to bash in for 1 here. Oh god, I need to set this fucking stop. Alright. I'm unhappy with not having that stop set. After I specifically said I need to set that stop previously. Alright. Attempt to grind you. Okay, we've gotten the concession. Oh, okay, sorry, I misunderstood what my opponent typed the second time. I thought they said, it's mono red, isn't it? No, they said, expletive, it's 1 mana, isn't it? Yeah. They thought it was 2 mana. Alright, I think I want my Red Elemental Blasts and Portable Hole versus this deck. I think my Karns aren't great. I think I'm going to board those out. It's just really hard to resolve a Karn. That means I also need to bring in this Grindstone and probably this Ensnaring Bridge too. I'll probably cut Enlightened Tutor. I probably don't need Brainstone. That card seems expendable to me, and I probably don't need Aethersworn Canonist. Yeah, that one was close. I think I had it either way. I don't think I want to board Magus of the Moon, because I would have trouble knowing what I want to take out for that, because like my redundancy is good, my removal is good, and that's basically like what I'm left with. So I'm going to go ahead and whack submit and not play Magus. Cutting my opponent off blue is cool and all, but they have enough red things that they can do, like with the Dragon Rage Channelers and presumably like Abrades and Equivalents and Ragavans, that like taking them off of blue temporarily isn't a lights out punch. And since the Lightning Bolt effects are going to stay in the deck and also remove Magus of the Moon, and those are still castable under Magus, I don't really know if that's where I want to be. Okay, how does this hand look? This is a hand that's pretty bad versus Ragavan, but pretty good against blue threats. I don't know if I want to keep this or if I want to mulligan. Because, like, if my opponent starts on, like, basically a Delver or Murktide, I have this hand covered. And if they start on Ragavan or Dragon Rage Channeler, this hand kind of does nothing. I have enough redraws that it's maybe reasonable to keep this hand. I'm gonna mulligan. I think I can get a 6-card hand of... Oh, excuse me, I just had a moment. I'm gonna keep this, and I think bin the Imperial Recruiter over the Bloodstained Mire. God, this hand is fucking hot. Oh. I do love Urza Saga. Card is very, very powerful. Okay, yeah. So our first hand would have been very bad against my opponent's start. Do I play the pedal out on one? Yeah, I'm gonna play the pedal out on one. Urza Saga. Play the Grindstone. Nice. I'm gonna make big boy constructs here. Yep, do your thing, Dragon Rage Channeler. And whatever they found, they kept on top. So they've got something they like with this Ponder. In the back of my mind right now, I'm thinking about like Null Rods and Meltdowns, as those are the things that would probably be most detrimental to me that could come out of the sideboard. What is my opponent waiting to pay costs on? What requires... Okay. I don't know what that would have been for. Alright, I go to 19. Oh, just more Urza Saga, huh? Do I want to use Lotus Petal this turn as to not lose life via Ancient Tomb? Makes my construct smaller. I don't know that I mind that. I'm just a little worried about, like, taking the damage. You know what? Fuck it. I think I am going to clock harder than my opponent's Dragon Rage Channeler plus my Ancient Tomb. Like, Meltdown level cards aside. I am bringing the pain. I will probably get a Lion's Eye Diamond off of my Urza Saga. That way, if I top deck the Painter, I can just, like, go for a kill. Okay. That's a Null Rod. That resolves. So we are 100% on the Urza Saga pain train here. Now this can't attack. You don't fly! You don't fly! No! Vivitrix, no! I'll block. Alright, so I got that creature for free. So now, go ahead and activate this. Turn those into 4/4s. They are now outside of Lightning Bolt range. It doesn't really matter what I get here because of the Null Rod. I think I'll still take an LED for reasons that I outlined earlier. I will play another Urza Saga and bash in for 5. So this will be lethal next turn. My opponent's at 12. And then unless I get wastelanded, I just will turn these both into 6/6s on my turn. Alright. Progressive Iteration needs to find a Meltdown Caliber card. Like, these constructs need to be out of play. You know, your Meltdowns, your Hercules Recalls. My opponent needs something like that. I wonder if I'll still just, like, beat a Meltdown because I have another Urza Saga. Okay, that's a Wasteland. That's good. Oh, but having to tap that land to Ponder is very bad. They can Wasteland my Urza Saga. Oh no. I think you're supposed to Wasteland the Urza Saga there. Because if I top deck another Soul Land... no, I don't even need to. Yeah, because I'm just going to use my Spirit Guide to produce lethal here. Yeah, some teachable moments in this one. So this is the difference between lethal and not. Or I can just like draw the Soul Land and make it easy. If something goes wrong here, I probably still want this land. I'm just going to play Plateau, I think. Alright, so send these in. After no blocks, activate Urza Saga. 1, 2. And there's my final 2 points of damage. Yep, the opponent said, clicked the wrong land. Yep. Yep, you did. GG's. Alright, round 3 opening hand is kind of weird. This is probably a keep. I have a good degree of redundancy, but basically no speed. We'll see if that ends up being acceptable versus whatever my opponent is playing. Alright. Yet another blue deck. These decks seem to be popular. Alright, looks like we're going to have a repeat of the last round. Well, let's go grab a basic. And we're going to get the non-snow-covered mountain this time, you know, just to mix it up a bit. And let's grab this welder. I think my opponent is favored to win this game. They're on board early, and I don't have speed. Oh, they pitched a Delver to that. Okay, and they've kept whatever it is with Dragon Rage Channeler on top. I'm gonna pass the turn here. I'm gonna be wastelandable. I have a Karn and an Enlightened Tutor, and I don't think either one of these cards is particularly great here. But my opponent is basically out of gas. That's the good news for me. Take a wee bit of damage here. Spirit Guide's interesting. I think this is still just a Goblin Engineer moment. I have an Ensnaring Bridge in both. Well, I will pay. But just confirming, I do have a bridge there. Yep. Yes. Is it another days? Is not another days. I think I just grab Ensnaring Bridge here. Because I currently need both pieces of the combo. I'm not, like, close to closing this game out. I do need an artifact in play to, like, actually sneak in the Ensnaring Bridge. Alright, we're just always yielding to these. I will also need to get these cards out of my hand. So I really want, like, more land drops, and I don't want to get wastelanded. Which is just, generally speaking, a recipe for success versus Delver, I suppose. Alright. And trip away. So this sorcery will be the 4th card type in graveyard, because there's creature, instant, land, and then the ponder will be sorcery. So I'm taking 6 here. But that does mean that these things are easier to brick wall via an Ensnaring Bridge. Those sure aren't lands. I guess I will just play a Goblin Welder this turn. And then I'm going to Enlighten Tutor for an artifact land on my opponent's end step, I believe. Because then I can play Karn and get an Ensnaring Bridge into play. This can just attack. You're not doing me any good defensively right now. Alright. Opponent's down to 16. Again, life totals aren't really super relevant here. Like, either I put this Ensnaring Bridge into play, or I don't. And I die. So let's Enlighten Tutor. Oh, Enlighten Tutor can get Urza Saga. That's super cool. I don't want to do that right now, but that was not a line that I was actively thinking about. So let's grab up the Great Furnace. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god. God damn it. God. Yeah, fucking Enlighten Tutor, basically. Oh my god. Enlighten Tutor just lost me this game. Yeah, and I have no artifacts to put in play now. Wow. That's really fucking annoying. What is Predict doing in your deck? Alright. Blast in. Portable Hole in. Grindstone in. Bridge in. I think I'm gonna board in the Urza Saga on the play. I didn't on the draw last time. Karn's out. Enlighten Tutor fucking out. If I could take it out twice here, I would. I'm gonna need to board out 2 cards. Brainstone. This is how I boarded last time, and now if I'm bringing the other Urza Saga when I'm on the play, I'll just trim a Recruiter. All right. This is a keep. This is just a fantastic Urza Saga based hand. Pedal. Saga. And pass the turn. I don't think I want to put the Goblin Welder into play off the pedal. I think I want to respect my artifact count here more than anything. I think I'm gonna Force a Will that. Red Force a Will. Yep. And I think I'm gonna play around Stifle by just activating this now. It plays into some other stuff, but I think I'm good with it. I don't know, there's Chain Lightning, which this plays into. Yeah, Chain Lightning is probably more common than Stifle. Alright. That's fine. I'll reactivate this now. So this will be out of Lightning Bolt range by the time everything's said and done. I'm just gonna loop a Grindstone into play for future prospects. And now I'll Great Furnace, which turns these into this into a 4/4. I'll have the Goblin Welder, which doesn't currently do anything, but can do something in the future. Oh. Yep, that's fine. So I've got a good amount of power on board. I suppose I have like a Murktide Regent to worry about as something that can be more aggressive than what I have going on. When I reach the point that I can do it without hurting myself, I probably want to be grinding myself. Ah, totally happy with drawing a blast there. That can counter a Murktide Regent. Hit you for 4. I'm not willing to like deal 2 damage to myself off an Ancient Tomb in order to mill myself, but I am willing to like spend my mana to work towards having a Painter's Servant in the graveyard to make my future Goblin Welders better. Alright, there's only 3 card types in the graveyard, so this is only 1 damage, which is basically nothing. I think I'll end of turn fetch. Ooh, this is probably Murktide. That is a Murktide. I think I'm gonna fetch a Plateau here. Goodbye? Nice. New Urza Saga would have been like primo there. I'm only dealing 4, which is fine. Like it's a better clock than what my opponent has, but I'm not dealing enough damage right now where I'm super confident that I am actually winning this game when like all resources put together are considered. Okay. So that fetch land put this back to a 3/3 again. Alright, I'm down to 11. And Grindstone's fine. Alright, now I'm dealing 5. I have my opponent dead in 2 turns. I'm gonna hold my last Ancient Tomb here. At least plant the idea that I could have a Blast as my final card. Now, Dragon Rage Channeler cannot block. At least in the mode that it is right now. So my opponent either needs to kill me or like find a blocker. Killing me is possible. It would require their 2 cards to either be like Lightning Bolt, or Lightning Bolt Ragavan, though. I go to 5. Now what? Okay, that one can't block. Oh no, it attacks each combat if able. That's the wording. That can block. Do I have any lethal lines this turn? I do. So I can get this Goblin Crater Maker and remove that as a blocker. I can also just get a Painter Servant. Okay, is there a way I can do this where I'm not dead to my opponent's last card being Lightning Bolt? Probably not, because Imperial Recruiter for Goblin and Activate is 6 total mana. Imperial Recruiter... Actually, Imperial Recruiter for Grindstone probably just kills me, right? Because this is Imperial Recruiter, this is Painter, Grindstone to activate would cost me 4 mana, yeah. So oh no, Crater Maker doesn't do it. Crater Maker does 2 damage. Shit. Am I dead? I have nothing that flies. No, I'm not dead because my opponent has to block with this. Imperial Recruiter. Okay. I'm gonna bash in with this. Yeah. Okay, so I'm already dead to Lightning Bolt. If my opponent has it, they attack me for 3 and then kill me. So I go ahead and do a Imperial Recruiter. It resolves. What do I do? I can like play a Painter, but then my construct... I should probably just get a Painter. I should probably get a painter and shock myself going to 1. It opens me up to dying to Forked Bolt, which probably isn't in my opponent's deck right now. I could also just junk the Lotus Petal. It'll still be a 5/5 if Painter resolves. No, I'm gonna take the damage here. Okay. Daze is fine. Yeah. Belding Tarn went into the graveyard. Blue. Shit, I just forgot about this thing attacking. Flying. I just killed myself. I got so lost in the sauce there. Okay, that's on me. What the fuck was I doing? Alright, what's my next card? My next card is a Pyroblast. So was it just correct for me to... Alright. It was correct for me to just do nothing and pass the turn. Or like play Imperial Recruiter and not do anything else. Like, no, if I play Imperial Recruiter... Yeah, I guess it was just correct to do nothing. Yeah, I just messed that up. But I probably have the win. I have the win if my opponent doesn't find a Lightning Bolt or a blocker. Yep, that was just a streamer brain moment where I forgot the onboard thing because I was talking through so many complicated lines. Ugh, alright, GG's. Also, did I still have a Lotus Petal in play last game so I could have just blasted the fucking Dragon Rage channeler? I hope not. Alright. Tail end of the last game sucked. It was on me. I'm going to be keeping this hand. This hand's pretty powerful. But no more recording leagues for today. I have done too much today and my brain is apparently just fucking mush. Alright, are we just gonna like run back more Delver? No. Well, maybe. Okay, preordained, probably not Delver. We're probably looking at more of a show and tell type deck. Alright, so let's go Lotus Petal, Urza Saga, and hold up Pyroblast rather than playing Painter. Alright. Those are still combo looking lands. Alright, so this is the turn where I have to decide, am I going to try to win via a combo, or am I going to try to win via beating down with a pair of Urza Saga construct tokens? I think I try to win via combo. Alright. Painter's Servant. There is movement on the other side of the battlefield. My painter is not safe. Okay. Well, I'm gonna blast it. We're probably playing against some sort of like Miracles or Standstill type deck. Oof. So much for my kill next turn. We'll try again later. Okay. So we are playing against Jeskai. Narset's not that big of a deal. I have that card covered already. Oh, Jace is annoying. So I'll do a mana here. The Pithing Needle's in the sideboard, right? Pithing Needle's in the sideboard. Let's just grab a Grindstone. How quickly do I want to play this game? Like, okay. Do Lightning Bolt first. I'm gonna fetch. Since I have another fetch land, I don't have to necessarily go and get a plateau here. I don't necessarily have to show my opponent that I'm white in game 1. I already have a painter in the graveyard. Let's, I suppose, just like grab an LED. Just take that out of the deck. I assume my opponent's probably gonna have to like Jace bounce my Goblin Engineer this turn. Oh, straight up 4 mana, answer my Goblin Engineer. Alright. We'll see if my opponent plays around Lightning Bolt with their Jace. I hope they don't. It's so good for me if they don't. And they didn't. Get wrecked, Jace. That's playing around Lightning Bolt on Jace is like old man legacy play pattern. Or really like standard even. Okay. Goodbye, Grindstone. Hello, Brainstone. I will probably set an upkeep. Oh no. No, I'll get in my deck a little bit deeper before I use this. Yeah, I'll just pass the turn here. I'll leave Pyroblast open for a Planeswalker or something, and if my opponent doesn't have one, I'll Brainstone and get rid of this Ensnaring Bridge that's in my hand. Alright, end of turn, Brainstone. Oh, these cards are good. I think I'm gonna put back Ensnaring Bridge and Ancient Tomb. Then I'll go ahead and fetch. Given what I'm seeing on the other side of the battlefield, I'm not expecting Wasteland. Back to basics is something that could happen, but I'm not expecting Wasteland explicitly. Let's get threatening. Urza Saga into Goblin Welder with the counterspell backing it up. Alright. That doesn't get Pyroblasted. I will 100% Pyroblast this fucking Preordain, though. I do not want my opponent to do Monastery Mentor things. Alright. So now I have the ability to get a Painter's Servant or a Brainstone into play. I also have the ability to make an Urza Saga construct. I think I'll just be passing the turn here. Alright, are you bashing in? No, I am apparently the beatdown. I think I weld here. Weld this land or a painter. If there's a sweeper, it's not going to happen at end step here. It's going to happen later on. And this does just represent a grindstone and a kill. Oh shit, I just drew a fucking grindstone too? Do I just make constructs here? Or do I try to kill my opponent? They have one card. Oh, this is a tough spot. I probably just try to kill my opponent. Alright. There is the Grindstone. I will cast a second Grindstone. I will go to combat and attack for 4. Now I will go to my opponent's upkeep. In my opponent's upkeep, I will attempt to kill them. Grindstone, target you. And if my opponent removes the painter, I just weld a Grindstone into an LED, crack LED, and activate the Grindstone the second time. Nice, good stuff. Alright, we're playing against some sort of blue-red control deck. I want Urza Saga. I want Pithing Needle against these Planeswalkers that I'm seeing from my opponent. I probably want more Red Blasts. That'll probably be about it. We'll board out Enlightened Tutor and Portable Hole. Board out Brainstone. Board out Canonist. This Crater Maker isn't exactly fantastic either. Let's board that out and get another Karn in here. I think I like how the deck looks at this point. Oh, I don't really like the Ensnaring Bridge. I don't know, there is Mentor. I have 4 Lightning Bolts for Mentors. So I get to keep one of, like, Goblin Crater Maker or Ensnaring Bridge as a way to deal with Mentor. Goblin Crater Maker doesn't always work. Ensnaring Bridge doesn't always work. I think it's about the same. Let's submit the deck like this. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this hand. I will probably just play Urza Saga on 1 as a way to tutor for a Grindstone. I'm not 100% sure though, because I can play this. Now I will. Well, No, I think I'm gonna wait 1 turn and just play a construct-based game here. I might just huck a Lightning Bolt at my opponent's face if I'm going to just, like, play the beatdown plan, but I don't think that's correct if my opponent has a whole bunch of, like, Planeswalkers in their deck, especially since, like, I'm going to treat this as an artifact for Urza Saga, rather than as a true win condition. Alright, what are you doing? Actual Factual Counterspell? Actual Factual Counterspell. That's fine. Alright, you have a Planeswalker for me. You do not have a Planeswalker for me. Let's just go basic mountain and make my first token. Alright, you've got land drops. So I will make a token. And then I will make a token. They're up to 2/2s. Oh man, do I just, like, fucking Pithing Needle that Scalding Tarn right now? Yeah, I probably do. Scalding Tarn. It's super fucking cheeky. I love it. Let's just bash for 3, and then I'll make my next play from there. Send them. Yeah, that's fine. This is not the end of my wrath. I am just getting started. I've kept my opponent off of white, and red by taking the line that I have. This is only a 2/2 right now, which is not the best. It is what it is. But I'll send it in, and then it'll become a 3/3. Activate. Okay, yep. Swords to Plowshares is fine. That'll be turn. I've already played my land. That Mentor is fine. I'll just Lightning Bolt that end of turn. Play around Force of Negation. Not around Force of Will. It is a force pitching a force. Alright. Activate this. This time I'll pick up a Grindstone. I already have a Painter in the graveyard. Now I will play out Great Furnace. Send this in. Put my opponent to 13. And now I think I play Welder over Engineer. Welder is a bit trixier. And potentially allows me to just combo off my opponent next turn. Alright. Let's always yield to this stuff. I don't have a blast right now. My opponent is under a lot of pressure. Both in terms of life total and in terms of my combo just ending the game. And the Urza Saga for Pithing Needle on a fetch land is just dirty. Alright, that is Prismatic ending on the Grindstone, so my opponent is trying to avoid dying to the infinite combo here. That's reasonable. My opponent does not make any attacks in. Do I have an artifact creature I can get? I don't think I have a Revoker or anything. Oh, duh, the fucking Painter Servant. Yeah. Let's Recruiter. I will grab Painter Servant. I believe I will cast it as well. Everything is blue. I will attack with two things. They require blocks. Well, I guess technically they don't require blocks, but it's probably wise to throw things in front of the bus here. That's fine. And again, I am threatening the infinite combo and damage-based kills simultaneously, which is like really where you want to be. Ooh, a Snapcaster Mage. Can target a Swords to Plowshares or a Prismatic Ending. A Swords to Plowshares. And what is the Swords to Plowshares targeting? That targets the Welder. I think I don't necessarily need this land. Let's weld this land into another Painter. Everything is very blue. Okay. My constructs are larger. I think I attack now. Okay. Opponent is being very conservative with these monk tokens. I think I will start off with a Goblin Engineer. And that is going to put a Grindstone into the graveyard. Then I'll hold my land because of City of Traders. And I cast an Imperial Recruiter. That's going to grab a Goblin Welder. And I think I am okay with losing Lotus Petal to cast Goblin Welder. So now I believe that my opponent needs to board wipe. Yep, alright, we have gotten the concession there. GG's. So we're 3-0, and I punted one game of match 3. This deck feels pretty good. Alright, final round here. My opening hand is a little bit medium. I'm probably keeping it. Urza Saga is a hell of a drug. I played against this player earlier today. I don't remember what they're playing. I don't use mental processing power to remember who is on what deck because, well, I got a lot of other things going on my second monitor over here while I'm recording, and I care about those things way more. I think that like turn 1 is just gonna be like Mountain Brainstone. Turn 2 is Urza's Saga, and then I start activating on turns 3 and 4. Yeah, not really a good combo hand at all. This is an aggro hand. Okay. Tundra Ponder. Alright, so some flavor of control. Alright, that's an awful draw, given how this hand looks, but okay. Mountain, Brainstone. Your go. Alright. Okay, so ban control. That's fine. Play out Urza's Saga. I guess I'll play out a Lotus Petal. On the off chance that I want to Enlighten Tutor for something. I don't think I will, but it represents a blast at the very least. Alright, and then Engineer. Yes, I'll use that ability. That's going to find me a Painter. And we're just going to squirrel Painter away in the graveyard, because this is going to get a Grindstone in the not-too-distant future. The game is young. I would say I am currently favored. I don't know by what percentage or anything, but I have a lot of stuff on board. Oh, wow. That is a lot of damage to take in the face of Urza Saga. Okay, yeah. Brainstorm. Okay, yeah. You've already made your land drop, though, so this isn't the best ponder in the world. Alright, my Urza Saga ticks up. Lightning Bolt's actually not a bad draw, given the amount of damage that I'm at least somewhat likely to do to my opponent. This will just be land ass. I don't know that I want to attack with Goblin Engineer. It's possible, it's fine too. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I don't really want to lose my Lotus Petal right now. Like, the Lotus Petal is pretty actively good. The Lotus Petal represents 1 point of damage followed by 2 points of damage over the next 2 turns. Alright, there's a land drop. I think if I didn't have a Lightning Bolt in hand, I might not have attacked with a Goblin Engineer. Alright. Yeah, you can junk that. That's fine. And then at end step, I will activate this. Do I want to Enlighten Tutor? I can Enlighten Tutor for a new Urza Saga, which is pretty obnoxious. I kind of want to do that. Cost me a point of damage this turn. I think this is going to get Swords to Plowshare to anyway. Yeah, we're gonna play this one nice and slow. Grab a new Urza Saga. Alright. I will activate the Urza Saga that I currently have. Turn this back into a 3/3, which will then become a 4/4. And this grabs me a Grindstone. Play Urza Saga. I suppose the way that I've done this means... Oh no, Ice Vanquaddle wouldn't have Death Touch, it's fine. Send it on in. Alright. That's a nuisance. That's fine. Notably, I believe Dress Down does not actually remove the ability of Painter Servant, just in case that becomes relevant later. Because layers are dumb. I think when a painter loses its abilities, the color changing stuff has already happened, so throwing that out there. Okay, Teferi is fine. Alright. That's a little annoying, but again, not the end of the world. This game is going to be more of a slog than I expected it to be. I expected this game to be over one way or another. Still think I have pretty good inevitability. I don't think I need to kill this Teferi immediately. I think I can use my mana in other ways. Let's replay Urza Saga. And then play an Imperial Recruiter. And this can get a Painter Servant. Okay, it has resolved. I will indeed grab Painter Servant. And pass the turn. The opponent's at 9. Constructs will start at 3/3s and probably become larger from there. I'm not super terrified of a lot of the things that my opponent can do right now. But my opponent is getting to look at a lot of cards, and I'm not really pressuring their life total in the next turn cycle. Okay, that's just a Teferi plus. That's fine. Alright, you've got a drop. Alright, and then that's just pass the turn afterwards. Karn. Karn is mighty interesting. I want to play my land, and then I think I just attack. Maybe I want a Lightning Bolt Teferi first main phase. To at least represent the fact that I could have something that could get in the way. Okay. I don't mind trading an Imperial Recruiter for an Ice Vanquaddle. That's a good trade for me. This is going to be a long match. This is like likely to be a we're going to go close to time match, I think. Alright. We trade these, and I'll just hold up the ability to make an Urza Saga token. Okay, there goes Grindstone. That's fine. It's annoying that my opponent can just do that. But again, I'm probably doing fine in terms of the grinding department. My opponent has more cards, but the stuff that I have is pretty annoying. That also qualifies as pretty annoying. I have an ensnaring bridge, so I can keep it from, like, attacking me and killing me, but I don't know. That's something I didn't really want my opponent to have. So I activate this. And now I have some real choices for whether or not I tick this up. Oh, okay. Given that draw, I will activate this again. Alright. Now, let's get a new Grindstone. Let's play a land. Now, do I want to play Painter this turn, or do I want to wait for next turn? I don't have a Painter in my sideboard to get with this Karn. I think I want to get cards out of my hand. Ensnaring Bridge is probably how I beat Burrow some portion of the time. The other portion of the time, I just make my constructs larger than... Yeah, that's fine. Than the Uro, and I just bash in that way. I'm still getting in 4 damage this turn. Okay. That's rough. Now, hopefully my opponent does not escape the Uro this turn, so that I can, like, Karn, get Tormod's Crypt, and get that out of there. But I don't think I could leave the construct value on the table. Like, I think either I go for the construct on my own turn, or I go for a kill that turn. I don't think in any of those worlds it's correct to just play the Karn and get rid of the Uro over that. I also just have, like, blasts and stuff that I can use to stop that from just crushing my life total later. Alright. There's the Uro. And now we'll see what else my opponent has for me. Okay, that's rough. If I can't pressure this, it eventually answers the Ensnaring Bridge as well. Oh, they're just bouncing the Grindstone. Sure. Urza Saga is a fine draw. Alright, there's this little tiny fly buzzing around near me, and I haven't managed to quite get it yet. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana available this turn. In my sideboard, I have some things that are useful as this game goes longer. Like, Pithing Needle for the Teferi is fine for the distant future. But if I play this Ensnaring Bridge, then, like, my second Urza Saga is not necessarily great. So, I think I'm going to play Karn. Alright, Karn got Force of Will, pitching another Uro. I will just redeploy this Grindstone. And that's a turn. We'll see if I can go wide or tall of this Uro. I have good prospects to do both. Wow. Well, okay, I guess if they're attacking for free life with Uro, it's not actually all that crazy to do that. Alright, they're fetching in response to the trigger. Fine. I think my Brainstone is just going to sit in play and help me increase the size of my constructs. New Karn. I'm one mana away from doing everything that I want to do. I think I need to keep playing constructs. It's just unfortunate because, like, Dress Down is a major pain in the ass here if my opponent has one. There should be one more remaining in their deck. Alright, I have a 4/4. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to point this. I think it dies either way. But I'm going to point it at the Planeswalker. Because if I take out that Planeswalker, my Ensnaring Bridge becomes much more interesting. Sure. Okay, nobody's graveyard got nuked, which is very weird to me. Maybe indicative of more endurances. See. The Stars of Plowshares 1, the other becomes a 3/3, and then I lose it to endurance. But that is admittedly pretty rough. So I think I'm on turtle strats now. And let's see if this bridge resolves. It does not. Alright, my opponent has probably turned the corner on this game, but I certainly cannot concede this one. Alright, yeah, it was indicative of a second endurance. Why aren't you nuking my graveyard? I have graveyard-based synergy. Like, yes, you put some of this stuff back in my deck, but you make my welders and engineers so much worse. My opponent is very brave when it comes to taking cards. Like, I know they have Uro and everything, but haven't I've already shown them lightning bolts? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, that's a Teferi plus. Oh, okay. So they're sacrificing the new. They're sacrificing the old Uro, and then they're just going to bring this back to gain life. So I have an ensnaring bridge in my sideboard. I believe that is what I am doing with my turn. Although there's this Teferi, right? Is Teferi on 3 loyalty? Teferi is on 3 loyalty. So basically, I need to kill my opponent this turn using some sort of painter shenanigans. And there's not a painter in my sideboard to wish for with this Karn, which is unfortunate. I have the mana to Karn into bridge. Okay. So I don't like the cards that are in my hand right now. So I think I will Grindstone, and I can use Urza Saga as a shuffle. Okay. I have not made a land drop. I can Pyroblast Teferi, get LED with this, crack, play Karn, crack LED, and at the very least I have a line to stay alive. I don't know that this works, but I have a line. I guess my sequencing doesn't really matter too much here, because I'm all... Well, no, I'm going to Pyroblast this first. Now I'll Karn. We'll crack it. LED. Well, minus Karn. Yes. I can play Painter's Servant, but that doesn't do anything. I need more mana. I'll cast this Ensnaring Bridge, and my opponent has a handful of things which answer this. Force of Vigor. Wow. This is a game 1, right? Am I crazy? Yeah, this is a game 1, and my opponent has Force of Vigor. Don't really know what to say about that. We're vintage now, I guess. Alright. So I want the ability to grind. Let's go. Red Blast, Urza Saga, Karn in for sure. I think I'll play Karakas as a way to deal with opposing Uros. I think I like that better than like Surgical or anything like that. I will probably bring the Pithing Needle in and have that as a target for an Urza Saga. Portable Hole out, Enlightened Tutor out, Aethersworn Canonist out, Brainstone out. What do I think of the Ensnaring Bridge? Ensnaring Bridge is whatever. I need to board out 1 land, I believe. City? Might be a city. This is still 61. I can board out the Goblin Crater Maker pretty safely. These games are gonna be long, though. Probably fine. I could consider moving a bridge to the sideboard. I could consider a few other things. Like, I could move the other Grindstone to the main. I think I'm going to keep the split like this. I would like to play first. This hand is kind of medium. It just has a lot of land. I think I'm going to mulligan this against like the dress down deck. I just don't know that this is fast enough. This hand is fast. Oh no, it's not, because like my Karn's fucking terrible, because my Karn doesn't win the game. I don't have a painter in there. Man. That sucks. Guess I could like be boarding a painter out, but I don't know that that's correct. I probably need to keep this Karn-based hand on 6. I'm not thrilled here. I'm gonna throw back the Karakas. In some ways I want that, because like eliminating Uro as a threat excuse me, is something that's important. But if I'm going to play Karn, I want to play Karn on turn 2. And if I'm going to play Karn on turn 2 and it doesn't work, I want to have this Goblin Welder as backup. But I don't think I'm going to win this game with this hand. That said, I think I keep it. Alright. Tempt Karn. My opponent had Force of Vigor game 1, so they are prepared for Urza Saga decks. Man, like if I had Painter here, oh man. Am I getting stifled? Yes, I will use this ability. I am just going to pick up a Grindstone here. I'm gonna make it look like I have the Painter already, and I am going for some sort of redundancy or something. I don't know. Like, these Karn's not winning the fucking game. Like, having liquid metal coating here would be so clutch. I just don't have that. Yeah, so yeah. These Karns aren't the best. Performance crypt, question mark, bubble horror, question mark, Grindstone, question mark. Grab a crypt, keep an arrow from getting into play that way. Just increase my artifact count. Yeah, I don't like the way this deck is playing Karn. Welder. I'm gonna do 1600 damage to myself. Bridge. Makes a top decked Urza Saga considerably worse. I don't know, like no liquid metal coating, no mycosynth here, no painter here. Yeah, I don't love it. Yeah, goodbye welder. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. My opponent fetched in a way that doesn't give them access to hard casting and endurance. Just something I'm going to be keeping in mind. Uh-huh. Was it so much to ask to just like top deck a painter there? Is that too much to ask? I need to just junk this now, otherwise my opponent fetches and they have 5 cards in graveyard and they can escape Uro immediately. I don't think I want to like plus on a grindstone and attack in or anything. I think this is a game that I win via combo. If I win, I am going to just thin a land out of my deck here. Just plus Karn on nothing. Actually, I guess I should have... Well, no, I don't think it's... I have to, like, take damage to activate these grindstones, so that's not worth it. Alright, what do you have? New Uro. That's annoying. Let's top deck Painter. Alright, Abundant Harvest is fine. And I got a Ponder. They're not casting, which may mean Swords to Plowshares. Hashtag Karn sucks. Land plus Karn on nothing. Next turn I can get a Brainstone and Brainstone away this Ancient Tomb. I can also consider starting to mill my opponent manually. A little riskier with like that Uro around. But also mill myself to make a future welder better. That was no shuffle. Let's fetch. I don't think I'm going to play around a back to basics. Maybe I will. I'm never going to need a second white. I'll grindstone myself here. Red Elemental Blast and Lotus Petal. I didn't want to fetch. Damn it. I didn't want to fetch because of the Karn getting me Brainstone. Dreamer makes plan and then changes mind halfway through opponent's turn. News at 11. I think I will just pass turn here. Weird. It's like there's Ice Fang Coatl specifically that could attack through this stuff. But I really would like to shuffle both of these cards back. And honestly, if my Karn dies to a fucking Ice Fang, I don't care at this point. This Karn isn't doing shit. Alright, so will Endurance nuke my graveyard? Endurance does nuke my graveyard. That's actually good for me because it allows me to get a Tormod's Crypt with Karn again. I am unsure if objectively that was correct to do. Alright. I'm just going to let Teferi happen. I'm going to try not to take damage off my Ancient Tombs here because my life total is a little dubious. Like, I don't think I want to, like, Brainstone off Ancient Tomb looking for a blast effect. I might Brainstone here. Oh, that's a painter. That's a good series of cards. That's a very good series of cards. I'll put back those 2. I'm fine with redrawing the Ancient Tomb here. I am probably discarding it anyway. I guess let's start here. And here. And I guess here. Okay. So do I lose my opportunity to name? I do lose my opportunity to name. It sucks. So I can use my Goblin Welder and move things in and out of play. Move the painter in and out of play, and that can be how I get through this. It's slow, but in theory it works. Okay. There's the in theory part. Sure. I'm far enough behind on time where I think I am going to just F6 these moments here. There's some minor plays that I could theoretically need to make, but the grind is extreme right now. I need to make up about a minute of clock. My opponent has a bunch of things like Prismatic Ending and their main deck Force of Vigors that can really turn things around here. Yep, that beats me. Person with main deck Force of Vigor beats Painter player. Fucked Pikachu face. Alright, we ended up with a 3-2 this league, but this was a 3-2 that felt very good. That said, I do not like the specifics of this deck list. I think the Painter shell itself is powerful, but I do not think this list is optimized. I really like the Urza sagas. I, in fact, think there should be 4 of them. But I believe every round I boarded out Enlightened Tutor, Aethersworn Canonist, and Portable Hole, and that probably means that those cards should not be in the deck. Like, the white offers relatively little here. I think I would rather just be mono red. I am all about consistency, and like my suggestions here probably show that. Like Urza Saga was great. Accordingly, I want a 4th one. I always boarded the white cards out. Accordingly, I would like to make my mana better. So that would be my starting point as far as what to change. Your sideboard would obviously end up being very different, but the biggest gripe I have about the sideboard is like the way it's constructed with regards to Karn. Karn is not a win condition in this deck, and that showed. Like, I had a Karn sitting on the battlefield for something like 8 turns, and it basically did nothing. Like, maybe if I board in the 3rd, I'm supposed to board out a Painter to make the card better, but, like, your Karns in game 1 then still kind of suck if they aren't able to fetch you both sides of the combo. So I feel like the Karn sideboard kind of ended up with a bunch of half measures. Like, maybe some of that is pilot error on my end, though. Like, maybe, like, I bring in the 3rd Karn, I'm supposed to board out the Painter, but, like, it just feels awkward to me. Like, I feel like the Karn sideboard needs to go deeper if you are going to be playing a Karn sideboard. And, like, maybe you can play more Karns in the main deck if you're not, like, running these white cards for that utility. But, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, click the like button. It's the easiest way to help me out for free. You want to see more? Please subscribe. Legacy Modern Vintage content 5 days a week. And if you want to try this one out or get one of your own decks on the channel, that info is in the video description. Have a great rest of the day, and if you really want more, there's some exclusive members-only videos as well.